In this video, I'm going to reveal absolutely all the secrets of Instagram for creating Reels with over 1 million views. With your models like this one. As you've understood, being present on Instagram with your model is already essential, but then really working on your Reels is truly the foundation, and it allows you to generate a huge amount of money. For example, this video here brought me in several thousand euros in revenue. Indeed, with a video that gets over 1 million views, you can generate roughly 15 to 20 free subs on OnlyFans every day for about 2 weeks, which adds up to around 150 subs in total. And as we know, with 150 subs, you make at least 500 or even 0 in revenue on OnlyFans with good chatting. Obviously, you can imagine that this video will keep gaining traction in the algorithm and will keep bringing me new subs over the long term. And of course, it will bring in much more than that, maybe even up to 5 to 10 in the long run. Now that that's been said, I'm going to show you exactly how I select my trends for my models. OnlyFans, let's go. Okay, so now we are directly on Instagram. So what do I do? Already you will need an account where you are really doing well. Warm up the account. So here's my advice. Either use your personal account or, for example, a model's account. In my case here, this is my professional account, Melvin OFM. So Melvin OFM for those who would like to follow me on Instagram, by the way. So basically the idea when you come across models, since I have French models, and that's really what works best well, I'm going to copy. So basically look for trends where the models are French and they're speaking. So we're really going to look for the very best videos, or at least the ones that have performed the best among all these models. Here in France, for example, here I come across this one, which is actually pretty good, right? So it has about 215 likes. So here you can see, here's the video. It has about 800 views, so it's not huge, but anyway, that's the account. It has 500. So here, the video didn't really go viral, but it's pretty high quality. So there are subtitles here. By the way, a small mistake on their part, in my opinion. I would put the subtitles more between the model's chest and mouth. It's much better, much more pleasant to watch. And above all, they don't put the subtitles above where people might be looking at the man in the video. And on top of that, don't put the subtitles too low, because sometimes they'll end up behind the description. So that's really not ideal. So basically, this video here is actually pretty good because specifically it's a French model who's speaking. We're going to watch it and you tell me that I'm pretty in the comments. So what I'm gonna do is, so I'm gonna go to her account and now I'm gonna take a good look. She has 500 followers, and then I'm gonna check specifically the latest videos, not the ones that are pinned, because maybe those are really old. We're gonna take a look. For example, this one is old. Well, actually it's not that old since it's from not even 10 days ago, and it has 276 views. So for example, this video is exactly the kind of video I can ask my models to make. Let's watch it. My favorite dish is carbonara pasta, actually. That's not true. Just because I said it in a video doesn't mean it's actually my favorite dish. No, my favorite dish is... It was starting with a B, that's it. Did you find it? Did you find it? We found it, we found it, we found it. That's it. It was starting with a B, done. Okay, well there, the trend is pretty good, especially since I've never even seen it. So that's pretty cool. And I'm even going to make a note of it. I'm even going to save it so I can send it to my models later so they can make it too. So the idea actually is that once we're, for example, on the model's account, so here we see she has 500 followers. Well, we try to say to ourselves, any video that has more than 500 views is good. Now, we're obviously going to look for the videos that have the most views. For example, a video with 0 views on an account with 0 followers is good, but it's not exactly the video of the year, so it's not necessarily the one I'm going to pick. Here, as you saw, I ended up choosing a video with 276 views, so that's really, really impressive. And on top of that, it was posted on June 8th, and now it's around the 20th. So it's been not even 2 weeks. So it's quite recent, especially since I've never seen the train. So it's really, really good, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. Shall we take a look? This one too. So this one was posted on May 30th, so about 3 weeks ago. There are a lot of guys saying that I'm ugly. Well, for this trend, okay, the stats are good on 140, 0 views, but the video itself is already 3 weeks old. So I really try to limit myself. Let's say usually I go back at most a week, 10 days. Well, this video is about 12 days old, so there you go. But especially since the drag itself, I've never seen it, me who. So I warm up several phones every day for 30 to 45 minutes. Well, I'm quite surprised, and so I think there might still be something to do with it. And actually, it's not necessarily a bad thing to pick up trends that have already worked in France. At least we know they've worked, so there's a good chance they'll work again. Sometimes it also comes down to looking at what's being done in the US and then copying it in France, but that can work or it might not. In any case, that's generally what I do. I really take trends from France, but also sometimes from the US, which we then implement with our models. So the idea will be to make a note for you And of course, then, for example, to list 7 to 10 reels that you can then send to your models. So if you have, for example, an Argentinian or Latina model who doesn't speak French, don't go and do this kind of trend with her. Now, you can still use them, so you have different options. Either you really start to warm up and do some research, a bit like I do, meaning you look at the same type of model that you have. So in your case, it would be Latina models who don't speak the language. Or, alternatively, for example, you can simply take that video and actually ask your model to film herself. And then, for example, you use the voice from the original video and add subtitles. You can also do the same thing. So by adding a voice using 11 Labs with AI, you can use your model's voice, which is also available on Inflow. This is actually really good, and very few people do it because, of course, it requires a bit of editing and a bit of effort. But as you've seen, put as much effort as possible into each video, because a single video can really, literally earn you several $1,000s in the long run. Okay, so now let's take a look at some of the recent videos. For example, this video here. So as we can see, well, first of all, it's lagging a little bit. Then I think maybe it's because of the trend. Here we're at 13,000 views, but still, the video is about 2 weeks old. It has 100 likes, so it's really nothing crazy. So for example, I'm not going to copy it. So this model, well, so the last 2 videos, I mean, the 2 videos that are 2 and 3 weeks old, she doesn't really have any big videos. So now we're gonna keep looking at other models. This currency here, so that's good. Okay, so for example, with this model, she has a niche that's actually pretty good. So she's in the trans niche. So for 99% of you, you have a model who is, well, straight. So I have both, you know, straight and trans models. But obviously, the vast majority, 90% of my models are, well, straight models. Well, obviously, I couldn't just, for example, copy a video like that, especially since it's a podcast, knowing that, for example, if my model is neither trans nor in a podcast, well, then it's not going to work. Still, try to keep things logical and, for example, copy trends with, say, 2 models who have more or less the same look as your model. Because, for example, if a video worked well because the model has a big chest and you send it with your model that she has a small chest, that you don't tell her, for example, to wear an outfit that really shows off her chest, that squashes her chest, or even that she makes little movements like that, well, to finally give a little more volume to her chest, well, it's useless. Because in the end, there won't really be any potential for virality because the codes have not been respected. There you go. So now we're going to take a look at some other videos. Right now, on my phone, I also have some US trends or even Thai from Thailand. But for now, we're really going to focus on French trends. Okay, so now we have this model named Chloe. She's quite well known, as you can see, with 147,000 views. Okay, so here, for example, recently there's a video that got 814,000 views just 4 days ago. Okay. Well, for example, this trend here, well, it's pretty good. We could also make a note of it and send it to our models because it got a huge amount of stats, right? It got way more views, well, you know, way more views than the number of followers, right? So that's a really, really good sign. Now, for example, let's go and copy the video that got 24,000 views. Well, sure, the video might be good and there might still be a way to get views, but it got a lot fewer views than the number of followers. So in the end, the video wasn't super viral. So, for example, we could make a note of this one. So now we already have a second trend. We'll stop at 3 or 4. We'll do 1 or 2 more. For example, there's this one that has 190,000 views. So there, it's not bad because in addition there, we have a small element. Here we have a little detail with, well, the t-shirt at the bottom. So there you go, she shows a little bit. And of course, well, the guys plus, you know, she pretends it was an accident. Obviously, it was on purpose. The guys after that, they're going to watch it. You can also see the size of her chest. So that's it. To the t-shirt, it's actually pretty good. The idea as well is really to come in and try to understand why a video got so many views, all right? And it's really about, well, ultimately finding those little details that make it work so well. Is it, for example, because there's a mirror behind her where you can see her butt or her figure, or maybe you can see her chest? Is it, for example, I don't know, is it, for instance, if the model is trans, can you maybe see a little bit of what's down there? Well, that's something, for example, that I put in place with my trans model. So, for example, I told her to make reels and to wear underwear to really highlight what she has down there. And of course, I know very well that this is going to get a reaction. And that's how you need to think. You really have to try to find those little details that will make the video truly, well, go viral, without obviously giving clues that are too obvious. Because sometimes when it's too obvious, it doesn't get a reaction, since people suspect you did it on purpose. That's not funny. Where videos really get the most views is when people think you didn't even do it on purpose, like putting an element in the video by accident, and that's when it really works well. Okay, so now let's look at another model. So here, we don't have too many French women. Okay, here we have a French woman. For example, this video here, it dates back, for instance, to February 7th. So this one got quite a lot of views. Here we had 740,000 views. The model already has 128,000 followers. So the video got quite a lot of views, but here we're looking at a video that dates back to February 7th. Now this trend, I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it again because, well, it's a bit old now. That being said, I did have one of my models redo it actually, a trans model less than a week ago. His account had 500 subscribers and now he's gained quite a few subscribers because the video, well, precisely he went from 400 to 800 subscribers because precisely the video has about 70 views. So as you can see, it really works well. Sometimes when you want to reuse a trend that has already worked before, even if it's a bit old, you should try to do it even better. In our case, of course, we also adapted it a bit to our niche. And above all, the video is just as high quality, if not even better. There's good lighting and so on. The model has great energy, the framing is good, and so naturally that leads to views. Okay, so now let's take a look at some of the recent videos. So here, 128,000 subscribers. We don't really have any videos that stand out, although we do have this one in 105,000 views. So that's from, which dates back to a week ago for example, this video here, well, just so you know, I sent it to my models so they could do it. Because actually, during my research a few days ago, I found it and saw that it had 905,000 views. So, well, actually a little less at that time, but still it has way more views than the number of subscribers she had. So for me, the video has huge potential. Now, why does it have such good potential? Because it really has a lot of shape, and on top of that, of course, you really highlight them. So that's why for my models who have a little less shape, I told them really highlight your chest, for example. Wear an outfit that will accentuate your chest, make it stand out on the sides like a black bodysuit, or also really press your arms together so that in the end, guys will have their eyes fixed right there, just like in the original video. So obviously with this kind of video, you'll have a much better chance of getting the same number of views, or even more if your model has more or less the same body type. Now, I know it's not always easy to find a French model to begin with, and even less so if she has the exact same physique, but in any case, it's not a big deal. A French model, whether she has a great body or not, or at least whether she has curves or not, there's always a way to make it work, as long as she has at least one asset. Is she really pretty? Does she have a nice bust? Or maybe she has a nice butt? So really try to find something that truly makes her unique and that as a result will make her successful because she has that little element that stands out. So there you go. So here, for example, we're on the third video. We also have this 159,000 views. So compared to her number of subscribers, it's not huge, but those are still good stats, especially for the French market. We spent 24 hours, you and me, hand in hand, room, and I can't say no to anything. Everything is lost. You see in the school it's Azu. Funny, because as a result, this video here, it was posted about 10 days ago. Whereas this trend, well, even I actually already posted it with my models several weeks ago, maybe even several months. So it just goes to show you can also reuse a video that's a bit old if you remake it better. So here you can see the lighting is pretty good. There's a little light behind her. Personally, I might have put a ring light a bit more on her face, a bit closer to her. In any case, there you go. You can really see her bra, her chest, and that's obviously what makes the video eye-catching. It draws attention. Basically, well, it attracts it, catches the eye. It's attractive at least. It draws, the viewer's attention, and that's why it has pretty good stats. So there you go. Really try to find trends that normally fit your models, or otherwise adapt them. And that's really how it works. And above all, look for trends that have been posted recently, ideally, and that have gotten way more stats than usual on the account you're checking out. That's how you'll be able to spot a trend, recreate it, post it, and get 1 million views. So now I'm going to pick a trend. You'll see it in just a moment. We'll switch over to CapCut. I'll edit the video right in front of you, and then I'll show you the result. And well, of course, it's the video that got 1 million views. In any case, I'm showing you exactly the process. So here I have a video like I showed you at the beginning that got 1 million views. So the idea is to show you step by step, to redo the entire process I followed to get this video that performs so well. So at the beginning, we do some research. So we look for content. Then we send the video to the model so she can film it. Then we mount it. Obviously, we're not going to post it right away. And then we post it with, of course, 2 or 3 little actions to take on Instagram to optimize the results and make sure, as I mentioned, that the video gets 1 million views. All right, let's get started. I'll see you directly on my computer. So you should know that the video that got 1 million views, the original video, actually, I wanted to find it again so I could edit it and basically show you the same editing process. But, well, I had deleted it because I had uploaded the edited version to my model's drive, obviously to be a bit more organized. So it's not a big deal. What I'm going to do is use another video that the model made for us in the same style. It's not the same trend, but I'm going to do exactly the same things to optimize this video as well. And who knows, maybe it will also get 1 million views. And then I'll show you the final video, the actual video that ended up getting 1 million views. And you'll see that the editing, all the little details, all the subtle cues that make a video go viral will be more or less the same. So yeah, that's it. Don't hesitate to really pay attention to and consider every single thing I'm going to do here on CapCut, because that's truly what allows us to take a video that's good and turn it into one that really has the potential to get 1 million views or even more. Okay, so now let's take a look at the video I'm going to use for the editing. Here we go. So an extremely important question. If we go out together tomorrow and I reveal all my secrets to you, would I be able to leave myself there? Right there, already in the video, what could I already tell my model to help her improve? First of all, it's good, but at the end, there's a little noise. So here, actually, she's filming her video outside, so there's a bit of background noise. That's a small detail, but it's something that could ultimately be removed, even during editing, you know. But ideally, she should also try to make the videos in the best way possible so that we have as little editing to do as possible, okay? The fewer things we have to fix afterwards, the better. So it's that little noise that I would advise the model to really pay attention to, for example. So why not then film your reels indoors at home? That's really the best. I have an extremely important question. If tomorrow we go out together, so in terms of the model's energy, well, it's good, but I know in fact that this model has very good energy. And so she has already finally made us some real ones which have a little more energy. And for example, well there, I would ask her to make, why not a little more effort on that to, you know, once again, try to optimize our chances on the video, etc. But in any case, it's good. As for the outfit, she's wearing a bra, so that's good. Afterwards, we can't really see much. And at times she raises the camera a little. Maybe she's also a bit too close. So here, maybe I would have told her, well, move the camera back a little, try to, why not squeeze your chest together a bit more to really highlight your chest, and then we'd already have a video that's much better. But even so, it's still good. And that's it. So now we're going to download the video onto CapCut. Let's go. Okay, so here, for example, I have CapCut. By the way, I really recommend getting the Pro version. So CapCut, I think it costs maybe $11 a month. Honestly, it's totally worth it. Especially when you know that a single video can earn us several $1,000s, so it's really important to edit these videos. It's not enough to just ask your models for videos and post them. That's really something a lazy person would do, someone who doesn't actually want to succeed or maximize their chances. So let's drag the video in here. We're going to zoom in on it a little bit. There we go. And now what I do is I expand it a little to see well. There you go in the audio track. You can actually see the parts when no one is speaking. And by the way, those parts, I'm going to cut them out to make sure the video is really dynamic. Okay, I have a question. Right at the beginning, she says, okay, I have a question. So, okay, it could be a hook, but it's not the best hook in the world. And here in this video, there aren't really any strong hooks either. For example, we don't have a mirror with our butt in the background or anything like that. We do have her breasts in a bra though, so in the end, it's fine. But for example, I could already cut out the okay. So either I leave the okay in or I take it out, I'll see. Okay, I have a question. I have a super important question. So I'll leave it in, but we could take it out. And for example, we'll end up cutting out those little parts where there's nothing happening together, where she's not speaking. Because actually those are parts that aren't very interesting. And that's where we can lose clients or viewers. Would you be able to leave me? All right, so now we're gonna delete all of that. There we go. And now we're going to create just one segment. Now we're going to add animation. And for example, we can add a little animation at the beginning. So for instance, zoom, I'm going to use that, a little filter. For example, I like to use either this one, a question ul, or this one. But honestly, here, I think I'll use enhance instead. So there you go. Then in the filter section, I'm going to lower it a bit. You don't have to set it to the maximum. And why not zoom in just a little, but that's just to make sure the video looks a bit more different. That way, if, for example, a partner of mine takes it and posts it, at least the pixels will be a bit more distant. And in any case, I run it through CapCut, so the metadata will be completely different. That's something you should know. So now we are going to add subtitles. So click on text and then on auto captions. Here, we generate French subtitles, and that's exactly why you'll need the Pro version, because it seems that the feature to automatically generate subtitles, and especially the fonts you can choose, are paid options and require subscription. That's why it's essential. All right. Honestly, I wouldn't really recommend writing the text by hand and so on. If you have the time and want to do it and you really don't want to invest any money, go ahead. But honestly, you also have to be ready to invest in the business, all right? It's a business that's still very accessible when you recruit a model, so organically you're not spending anything. Then in the end, you're creating money out of nothing with organic methods. So honestly, you can afford to invest a little because it's not a business that requires a huge amount of cash flow. That's actually a big advantage of this business. And that's also why I recommend it to any beginner who might be hesitating, for example, between OFM and maybe another business like e-commerce or whatever else. Okay, so now let's go straight to the subtitles. For example, let's take a look at what kind of subtitles we have. If tomorrow we go out together, I don't really like that. Okay, I have a question. Same here. It doesn't look very good. There are too many colors. Okay, I have a question. Same thing. I wouldn't put it on 3 lines. Okay, I have a question. This one, for example, isn't bad, but of course we can find something much nicer. Okay, I have a super IM question. For example, this kind of subtitle is good, but then I would recommend one with a color that really catches the eye or something a bit more girly. So to attract attention, it could be yellow, red, or if you want something a bit more Gillisan's, it's a female model, maybe pink or something like that, something that really matches. Why not her outfits, her vibe, her Instagram account, her branding, all of that. Okay, I have a question. For example, this one is actually pretty good. Super important. If tomorrow we start dating and I say to you, secret, would you be able to leave me? So that's actually pretty good. Right, let's take a look at one last one. So for example, there's also this one, would you be able to leave me? Okay, that's an extremely important question. If tomorrow we start dating and I reveal all my secrets to you, would you be after the emojis here? That's not necessary. There you go. For example, we also have this one, which is actually pretty good. Would you be able to leave me? And we also have, for example, I want to show you the fonts that worked really well in the reel I posted. I know that after this video, everyone is going to use that font, but that's okay. Honestly, it's not the font that's going to make you a lot of money. So there you have it. Really, the most important thing is the content, the hook itself, and also how it's executed. Obviously, then the whole setup on Instagram. So everything on Instagram has an impact on conversions in the end. It's not enough to just post reels to get subscribers. You need to interact on the account, be present, active, consistent, make sure it's good content, and of course, convert well afterwards with a good OnlyFans account, etc. So there you go. Now we're going to look at the results. I have an important question. If we go out tomorrow and I share all my secrets, would you, and about subtitles, please don't add them. I see too many managers who do that. They always put them at the bottom. First, it's not pleasant. When you see someone's face here and subtitles at the bottom, you don't know what you're supposed to look at. Put them below the mouth so you can watch. In the end, here you can really see both at the same time. And it's so much more pleasant to watch. And on top of that, it will also prevent subtitles from ending up behind the description, etc. Especially since we also have likes, comments, and shares. So that's something to keep in mind for Reels. So that's what I was talking about. Here, I finally found a little preset on the internet. You see, it's all of that. It's really the title, the description, the audio, and like, comment, share. You really have to make sure that the subtitles don't interfere with those elements. Obviously, I'm not going to put it in the video. This is just to illustrate the idea for you, but it's very important. Now, once again, we watch the video all the way to the end to see if everything is good or not. Okay, I have an extremely important question. I also set my audio to about this level, about 3/4, let's say, because that's roughly the level at which people listen to videos. If tomorrow we release and here I find that the video isn't the audio isn't very loud, so I'm just going to add a little bit of sound, a bit more volume, quite simply. Here you can see that it's orange, so we can tell that it's speaking. That's really unpleasant for people wearing headphones, even for those who aren't. So we're actually going to lower that. I'm going to set it to 0.8. It's better than nothing. There we go. Okay, I have an extremely important question. If tomorrow we start dating and I reveal all my secrets to you, would you be able to leave me? Okay. Here we can also see that at the beginning, the start of the sound isn't really loud. So similarly, I could just cut here and increase the audio a little bit. I think that's really not a bad idea. Let's take a look at the result. So there you go, we can see that it's much better. So now we're going to export the video. Here we give it a name, for example, model. There you go, model 1. And then very, very important, we ask the model to film her videos in 4K 60 FPS, and then we will export them in 1080p. Why not 4K? Because in fact, Instagram will then reduce the quality, compress the video, and it's really much lower quality than if we export directly in 1080p. The bitrate, so for that we set it to high, codec, so 264 MP4 format, and FPS, so frame rate, here 60 FPS, and then we can go ahead and export. And now we have our video. Now we're gonna watch it outside of CapCut to see the result and check if everything is good. Okay, now that's it. I have my final video. Let's watch it right away. Okay, I have an extremely important question. If tomorrow we go out together and I reveal all my secrets to you, would you be able to leave me? So there you have it. For me, the video is pretty good. We really tried to improve the little details that you can work on improving. Now, what's also good, not only is it important to do a good edit, but as I mentioned a little earlier, it's obviously important to give feedback to the model to see what she could improve, so that moving forward, the reels are increasingly high quality right from the start, even before editing. And then that's really the best when the content is perfect right from the start. Editing becomes simple and quick, and above all, the video is optimized to get the maximum number of views on Instagram. So the video that performed well, I'll show it to you in just a moment, but first take a look at the stats. Here you can see that the video, I'll put up a screenshot if it's not super clear, but as you can see we have just over 1 million views on 491 views. So yeah, the video really performed well. And once we have our video, we post it on Instagram. What I recommend is always doing a really good warm-up, super active, really swipe every 3, 4, 5 seconds like the videos, and do that for 20 minutes after posting, okay? Personally, I don't necessarily recommend it. In any case, I've never really done it myself because the warm-up works well after posting. Some people do the warm-up before or during. During posting, obviously it's not possible, but before and after, yes. I really recommend doing a big warm-up afterwards. For me, that's really the most important thing, and that's what makes the video take off much better. And you'll even see each right after the warm-up, you'll already have more views than you would normally have the same amount of time after posting if you hadn't done the warm-up. For example, if tomorrow I warm up a video for 20 minutes, maybe afterwards I'll have 30 views on an account that's not very big. Whereas if I post the video, do nothing, and come back 20 minutes later, maybe I'll only have 5 views. And for me, that's really what makes a video take off. Even though today on Instagram, views don't just happen in the first 24 or 48 hours, but really even 4, 5, 6, 7 days after posting. That's really when, in my opinion, videos go viral. And that's what's really great. It's that now videos aren't just viral, but they last a bit longer over time. And personally, I prefer it that way. So that's an example of a change I've noticed on Instagram after spending months and months, even years on it through my various online businesses, but especially with the OnlyFans agency. And you should know that I've been on Instagram every day for a little over 2 years. Naturally, after a while, you start to understand a bit better how it works. So I'm putting the video that got 1 million views right here. Gentlemen, stop wasting your milk in tissues. There are mouths to feed, so please make use of the mouths available to you. So there you have it. As you can see, the video is pretty dynamic. It was well edited, it was well crafted. So naturally, it got quite a lot of views, and that's really the goal of every video. By the way, for those who would like to learn how to generate 300 euros a day with OFM in less than 90 days, that's the goal of my program. My training or coaching, OFM Pro Strategy, which will be available in the description for those who are interested. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to let me know in the comments, give it a like, and most importantly, subscribe. See you, ciao.